If we blow up an asteroid, it might pull itself back together. Despite what Hollywood tells us, stopping an asteroid from creating an extinction level event by blowing it up may not work. You may have seen all of the really fun movies. There's a weird phenomenon in Hollywood. I don't know if they still do it, but they would make like two of the same movie at the same time. You have, Ants and then like A Bug's Life. You had Deep Impact and Armageddon or whatever. They're very, very similar movies released at the same time. I don't know exactly why. It's like someone wrote about it. But what's the theme of those movies and why do I bring them up? Because people fly onto an asteroid, plant a bomb, blow it up, and then everyone's saved. Or if you're an anime fan, there's One Punch Man where he punches the meteor and it explodes. But now we have this story from the New York Times, from their Trilobites section, where they show this really awesome graphic animation. Check this out. So this is the end of the animation. I'll wait for it to start over. There we go. So it explodes, but it immediately starts reforming due to gravity, which means the fantasy scenario of nuking an asteroid might not actually do anything. They say, in a simulation, material smashed away from an asteroid following a collision is attracted back to the object by its gravity. Now, for those of you who are wondering what we're talking about here, yesterday I made a video about the Halo drive, which is a hypothetical, it's a thought experiment, essentially, that a ship could fire a laser, curve it around a black hole, and hit itself with its own laser with light sails to push itself forward. I've decided I'm going to do a lot more science videos because when we constantly talk about politics and the culture war, and with everything that happened in New Zealand, I feel like, talking about cool and fun and exciting things that are more, give you more hope and inspire wonder, it's an important thing to do. And so when I saw this story, I thought maybe I should, because I've done it before, and I'm launching the Mysteries podcast, and we should talk about some really cool concepts in science that are going to inspire us, and I don't know, maybe inspire some cool science fiction. Maybe we'll do a sequel to Deep Impact or Armageddon, where blowing it up didn't work, and then we got to do something else. But let's read this very interesting story from just a week and a half ago or so. Faced with the prospect of a sizable asteroid heading toward Earth and causing doomsday, humanity has come up with various responses. Hollywood may reckon that the best way to destroy an errant space rock is with nuclear weapons. This is rarely the preferred option of experts, but using some sort of spacecraft system to smash an asteroid into small, harmless pieces is seen as a real-world possibility. A new study looking at a gigantic space rock on space rock clash hints at how utterly ineffective this type of asteroid assassination attempt may be. Now, if you're a fan of Futurama, you would remember the episode where there was a giant ball of garbage heading towards New York. And they said, what if we fire a missile at it? And they said, unfortunately, it would go right through. So let's think about that for a second. If a rocket hit this and it broke and it just reformed, it's not too similar to the garbage ball in Futurama. So ultimately what they did was made another giant garbage ball and hit one garbage ball with another to knock it away. Perhaps that's a better solution in dealing with the doomsday scenario. They say, using computer models, scientists simulated a 4,000-foot asteroid smashing into a 15.5 asteroid at 11,200 miles per hour. Immediately after colliding, the large asteroid cracked considerably with debris flowing outward like a cascade of ping-pong balls. Despite some deep fractures, the heart of the asteroid was not comprehensively damaged. As time went on, the gravitational pull of the asteroid's resilient core was able to pull back ejected shards. It seems that asteroids don't just absorb mind-boggling amounts of damage, but as previous work has hinted, they are also able to rebuild themselves. Man, that's crazy. I never even thought about that. Charles Elmere, who studies asteroid annihilation at Johns Hopkins University and is the paper's lead author, said his findings could be interpreted as an argument against blowing up an asteroid as a defensive strategy. Asteroid collisions and demolitions have been simulated many times in recent decades. Earlier studies suggested that large asteroids are full of internal scars because of their violent history, and that a fast enough impact would completely shatter them. The new study published this month in the journal Icarus tried a different simulation. K.T. Ramesh, director of the Hopkins Extreme Materials Institute, said that Andy Tong, a former graduate student, had developed a computational model that looked at how materials like bulletproof vests respond to impacts. Realizing that Dr. Tong's model could simulate asteroid impact events, the team merged it with another model that also replicated the effects of a large asteroid's gravitational field. The hybrid model allowed them to more realistically see how an asteroid responds to being hit by a powerful projectile. It captured previously missing but vital small-scale details, including where fractures would appear and precisely how they would spread. I went to a talk in Los Angeles. Actually, before I get into that, One of the ideas that we see in Hollywood and with movies trying to deal with the apocalypse is not just to blow it up, but to place rockets on it to push it and just guide its trajectory. So it's like, if it's going to hit Earth, you make it go like this and go around Earth effectively. But anyway, I digress. That's an interesting thought. I went to a talk where it was a really interesting argument where this guy was trying to claim that God is real and the solar system is proof. And he went through a series of issues where he said it was too coincidental. It must be proof of intelligent design. One of the things he mentioned, which is really fascinating, is that many planets are bombarded by asteroids. They just get smacked. You can see the craters all over the place. So why is it that Earth isn't? One decently sized asteroid could wipe out all life as we know it. I mean, you look at the dinosaurs, which I don't know where we're currently at with that understanding, but it's believed that an asteroid impacted Earth and then it clouded the sky and all this bad stuff happened. But what he said was, because in our solar system we have a couple gas giants, they effectively act as filters. With more gravity, they guide away asteroids and then absorb them, essentially acting as a shield for Earth and the planets in the inner solar system, inside the asteroid belt. I thought it was really fascinating. He then went on to claim that this was proof that God created the solar system because he's given us a shield. And I'll just add before reading on something called the puddle concept or something, where basically there's a puddle of water and the water looks around at the puddle and says, wow, this hole that I'm in fits me perfectly. It must have been designed just for me. Not realizing that it's actually the water that fit to the puddle. So the general idea is that not that someone put us here or that the solar system was created for us, but yes, in order for life to exist and to flourish, these are the circumstances required. And in a universe as big as it is, it's likely we're not the only ones. We're just one and we're extremely rare. Or maybe we're not, and we just can't comprehend what's happening in outer space. But let's read on about their new models. Michelle Bannister, a planetary astronomer at Queen's University, Belfast, described the research as a nice upgrade on modeling the complex physical realities of the solar system's enigmatic rocky monsters. The study has limitations. Both asteroids are modeled as simple, non-rotating chunks of rock, whereas real asteroids are far more variable. In addition, the larger asteroid, despite featuring a starting collection of cracks, did not have a history of multiple impacts as true asteroids would. A large space rock smashing into a humongous space rock also differs from a missile onslaught or an atomic bomb exploding on or beneath an asteroid surface while a popular rock band plays. And I think to Hollywood's credit, they wanted to drill into the asteroid and then place the bomb in the asteroid to crack it because the surface level wouldn't do it. The study doesn't rule out using projectiles to destroy an incoming asteroid, Dr. Elmir said, but he added, shattering a large asteroid may end up causing more problems than it solves. Turning a cannonball into shotgun shell fragments could still result in Armageddon if the shards strike Earth. Good point. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office, which keeps an eye on asteroids and comets that will one day pass close to Earth, instead suggests changing a space rock's trajectory by giving it a small nudge well in advance of reaching our world. NASA and others aim to test the strategy in 2022 with the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, in which a spacecraft will deliberately crash into the smaller member of a binary asteroid system in an attempt to change its orbit around the larger body. Ultimately, the choice between deflection and destruction largely depends on how quickly an incoming asteroid is spotted. A successful deflection becomes more difficult to execute as warning time decreases, said Megan Bruck-Sial, a planetary defense researcher at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. For the shortest warning times, robust disruption and dispersal of the fragments may be the only viable option to prevent impact. I had no idea that we had, planetary defense researchers. How cool is that? So I guess the general idea is, it's kind of obvious, but I'll say it anyway. If it's too close to us, like, I don't know if you've ever been to IKEA, but goddamn do I hate IKEA. I'm setting up this new space so we can do interviews, and I had to get a desk and everything. And the shopping carts at IKEA can move in, freely within 2 dimensions. So like a shopping cart at Walmart, say, only the front wheels can spin and the back wheels are fixed so that you can steer. And you can't push the cart, to the left because the wheels won't move. At IKEA, however, when you've got a bunch of furniture on your cart and it can freely spin, it's almost impossible to turn because when you turn, it just keeps moving forward. That's the inertia. So once you're too close to Earth, the asteroid can't be pushed because there's just too much momentum. It's like trying to move that shopping cart at IKEA. Yeah, you can turn it, and it's just going to start spinning. So then comes the concept of blowing it up. But anyway, I don't know. I thought it would be cool to talk about more science stuff. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is maybe the last video of every day will be something that's more awe-inspiring and cool and interesting, or a mystery or something. Because I think, I know not everybody watches every single second of every video I make, but at least we can end the day on a positive note of something very interesting that makes you think about how cool life is, instead of ending your day and going to bed upset because of the nonsensical politics that dominate our era. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for hanging out. Stick around, and I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m.